bogey side. That's the only time I'll mention the term bogey sides when describing Hawthorn. This is the round 23 preview. Collingwood's clash against Hawthorn, Saturday night, MCG, 7:40 p.m. start. It's Super Saturday for Collingwood teams. 4 Collingwood teams in action: the VFLW, the VFL, the AFLW season commencing, and the AFL Saturday night. So it starts at Port Melbourne, ETU Stadium, 11:05 a.m. start. Collingwood's VFLW side taking on Port Melbourne. A massive game there for Collingwood's AFL or VFLW side to get into the top 2, and a massive fortnight after this week as Collingwood takes on Williamstown and North Melbourne, the 2 other teams in the top 2. Port Melbourne in the finals mix for the VFLW. So massive game there for Collingwood, returning from the bye and looking to get back on the winners list as well. The VFL, it's a double header in Port Melbourne. So the VFLW, 11:05 a.m. VFL, that's a 2:05 p.m. start. Collingwood taking on Port Melbourne. Collingwood out of the finals equation once and for all. Port Melbourne, though, must win to get into the top 10. So last year, Port Melbourne beat us to knock us down from the top 6 into wildcard spot, and then we lost to Williamstown in the wildcard round the following week. For this year, we can knock out Port Melbourne from the top 10, so payback's a bitch. That's the game. That's the goal for this one. But also a good chance to look at a few Collingwood players, most likely playing their final AFL game. Not AFL game, but just their final game in a Collingwood jumper. And then the AFLW season commences. Collingwood taking on Richmond Saturday twilight, 5:05 p.m. start. What a weird time at Icon Park. 2 teams not tipped to do anything special in 2026 for the AFLW season. Collingwood's got a surprising injury list in the AFLW, so hopefully we're not impacted by it. But hopefully it's a chance for Collingwood's AFLW side to start their season with a win, and then who knows from there. And then Saturday night, Collingwood taking on Hawthorn at the MCG, 7:40 p.m. start. Uh, let's get into the actual preview of this game, because last time we played Hawthorn, it was a draw, and I was optimistic heading into that game, and I just thought, yeah, it was a 5-day break, but Hawthorn, they hadn't lost a game since opening round, and I just thought this is the typical sort of game and setup for Collingwood. Backs against the wall, not tipped to produce an upset win. 5-day break, and we were so close to producing the upset win. I said during the preview and during the week that I thought Hawthorn was gettable. So close. Darcy Moore broke my heart, dropping a simple soda and then giving away a high free kick to another D Moore. Here we are now, Hawthorn in 3rd spot. They must win this game to cement top 4, or pretty much all but guarantee top 4. They got West Coast next week. I would say, I wouldn't say, I would not say. Uh, Mulligan sort of areas last week for Hawthorn, but losing by 67 points in the month of August, right before finals against another top 4 side in Brisbane. Yeah, it's at the Gabba. It's not a good, happy hunting ground for Hawthorn, given their history at the Gabba. But to lose by 67 points to a team who got thumped by Carlton the week prior, yeah, it doesn't bode well for the premiership chances. I made a video last year when we lost to Hawthorn by 64 points, the history of teams who make finals, but if they lose in the month of August by 10 plus goals, they fail to win the premiership. And that was, I think that's the sort of areas Hawthorn's in right now. They're probably thinking, oh, their season could be done, or their premiership chances are hanging by a thread. But in 3rd spot, they just need one more win to all but guarantee top 4. And they're going to use us as a stepping stone. And they're playing us looking to respond. And I say to Hawthorn, if you're going to use us as a stepping stone, step hard, step really hard. But the simple expectation for Hawthorn, or playing Hawthorn here, they're going to bounce back from last week. They're going to turn the chicken up. The pressure around the ground is going to be immense. I overused the word immense last week, but I'll say it here. I won't say bogey side this time around against Hawthorn, but we know what to expect for Hawthorn. They've got the ledger over us in the last 15 years. Even though besides that 9-game winning streak over us in the mid-2010s, it's almost been 50-50, but Hawthorn still has the ledger. They know how to beat us no matter what the ladder position is. Go back to 2023. We won the premiership, but we were in 1st spot. We lose to Hawthorn, who were in 16th spot, even though they had good momentum for a 16th place side compared to West Coast last week. But 2024, Hawthorn beats us by 11 goals in wet weather conditions. One of the worst losses in the home and away season I've ever seen as a Collingwood fan. And then last year, still side bottoms 350th. Harry Perryman's 150th, and we lose by 64 points. Jeremy Howe gets knocked out in the 1st minute, and that pretty much summed up the game right there. That was the worst loss of the home and away season. But basically, the worst losses we've had over the last 3 seasons, home and away, has been at the hands of Hawthorn. Hawthorn 16th spot. Hock Tour, that was viral, 2024. Hock Ball was the thing for them. And then last year, Hawthorn yeah, they just showed why they have the dominance over us, and that was having beaten Hawthorn by 51 points halfway through the season last year. So for them to turn it around, 115-point turnaround, yeah, that's what Hawthorn can do to us. We have a draw this year in a game that we were so close to winning, and again, just so close to having that bragging rights there. But yeah, we know what to expect for Hawthorn. Quite a few players having their most quiet or worst game of the season last week. We know they're going to respond. Will Day, Mabior Chol, other key forwards, other players as well. Josh Weddle looking second rate. Lloyd Meek in the ruck. Key forwards, Tom Barras, James Sicily in the back line. Blake Hardwick, everyone, pretty much everyone from Hawthorn. I'm not going to go through individual names and players, but every single Hawthorn player across every line, it's going to improve compared to us. We need to expect it. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, they're going to turn up for us and then go back this year. That's not the case. That's Hawthorn. They're in third spot. I'm expecting, and we should all be expecting, a Hawthorn bounce back. Third VA, expect Hawthorn to play like a top four side. Collingwood, we are that side. We've got that sort of look on us, or everyone's looking at us as the team they don't want to face in finals. This is a finals tune-up game for us. We've cemented in the wildcard spot, pretty much 95% guaranteed for wildcard. It's a tall order for us to somehow squeeze into the top six. We could beat back-to-back top four sides, but we also need results to go our way. That's where we're at. I think we're steadfast. We're heading towards the wildcard round. Who we face, we don't know. Most likely going to be Carlton, but we'll find out uh, pretty much by Sunday afternoon or 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. Sunday, who we're going to face in wildcard round or who our possible opponents are going to be. But just an update on Collingwood's injury list, and there's not really any updates, really. Jordan Ngoe, Scott Pendlebury, both a test or is being assessed Thursday training. Jordan Ngoe with the glute, Scott Pendlebury with the calf. Joel Cochran in concussion protocols. I don't think he'll be called up for the AFL, replacing Noah Howes or anyone in the back line for that matter. Lipinski, Maynard, Perryman all progressing for their injuries, a calf, a knee, a hamstring. We'll know a proper timeline on Jeremy Howe next week. I've heard some speculation it could be around 24 return, but I think there'll be another game missed next week, and then hopefully he's right for the wildcard round and beyond if we go beyond. And then there's obviously 5 players out for the season: TJ, Darcy Moore, Jamie Elliott, Oscar Steen, and Reef McInnes. Now, just in regards to selection speculation, there'll be a team selections final word video Thursday night or tomorrow night. I'm expecting at least 2 changes. If Pendlebury and De Goey get up for this one, I hope they get up for this one. The main focus is facing these top 8, top 4 sides. If they're fit, they've got to play. Hopefully they're fit to perform. But De Goey and Pendlebury, if they're returning, who gets dropped? That's going to be an interesting selection headache. I don't expect Swatling or Rowan Steele to be dropped. I'm looking at players like Will Hayes, Lockie Sullivan. Noah Howes, I think, will stay in the side until wildcard round, until Jeremy Howe returns. So out goes Howe, in comes Howes, and that'll be the case until when Jeremy Howe returns. But I'm looking at a Will Hayes or a Lockie Sullivan from players who were called up last week to possibly being dropped. But there are possible selection changes in regards to players tapering off uh, later in the season. Someone like an Angus Anderson, for example, who, yeah, the season is taking its toll on him. He's not injured or battered and bruised, but you can tell a first year AFL player, it takes time, and we are getting to that point with Angus Anderson. 14 disposals last week, I think it was. Not much of an impact. We need impact players. So Angus Anderson could be in the mix being dropped. Steel side bottom, I think, could be more of a management. And I know it's harsh to say that, but we need 23 fit and firing players, no matter what level they're at. And I see someone like side bottom who plays off his man across half back or an outside role and just doesn't have that impact against the West Coast. And that doesn't bode well. If you can't have an impact against West Coast, what chance do you have against Hawthorn or Brisbane or any top 8, top 6, top 4 or a top 2 side? Yeah, we're going to have that discussion. But again, team selections, final word video tomorrow. I'm expecting 2 changes, but that's all dependent on Pendlebury and De Goey. Otherwise, let's not be chopping and changing the side too much. Yeah, we got that decent win over West Coast with the young, inexperienced side, but against the top 4 side in Hawthorn and also beyond against Brisbane next week, massive, massive ask for guys like Noah Howes, a Swadling, a Will Hayes to produce the goods in these sort of games. And just with the compare the pair, and I'm going to focus more on Hawthorn again for this sort of metric. Hawthorn being top 8 in pretty much all stats mentioned on screen. They're top 6 for points for, they're top 6 for points against. They're in the Fox Footy Premiership window there. And despite their loss by 67 points to Brisbane, they've still got all the hallmarks, all the makings of a premiership side this year. Despite not getting their Zach Merritt last year, they are a star midfielder or a star player away from being a proper premiership side. They're still a top four side, for Christ's sake. Number one for disposals, their midfield game has improved in the last 12 months. Centre clearance work has improved as well. When we faced Hawthorn last time, the one area was going to be the centre clearances. That was their weakness, but they've turned that around in spades for Hawthorn. First for disposals, fourth for clearances, second for hitouts through Lloyd Meek, eighth for contested possessions, seventh for tackles. So they've got a mixture of outside and inside work. Jai Newcomb, the inside bull, Will Day, the outside midfielder, Josh Ward, Cam McKenzie, a few other midfielders coming through as well. Amon, Jarman Impey across half back, and then their forward line and their back line is just, yeah, it's a tough cookie to crack, those ones. They're good in the air as well for their contested possession and contested mark work. Fifth for intercepts and they're third for efficiency inside 50. But a couple of stats where they're not top eight in rebound 50s and shot at goal accuracy. We are one of the best sides kicking a defensive 50 in the last or since the bye. And Hawthorn, lack of rebound 50s. If our forward 50 pressure's there, we can crack Hawthorn's backline. And also for our shot at, or Hawthorn's shot at goal accuracy, make them pay on turnovers. So there is a couple of areas there for Collingwood to exploit Hawthorn in, but I can't go into this game with the same optimism I had last time where I thought they're gettable. This time around, I'm expecting a Hawthorn side fit and firing, looking to respond. And I'm just thinking of recent history as well with Hawthorn, where they just get us by a decent margin. They cause that upset win or they leave us shell shocked pretty much. And with the recent history, Collingwood does lead the overall head-to-head, 101 wins, 72 losses, and one draw, which was the last time we played Hawthorn. 15-3-93 to Hawthorn, 13-15-93. Dylan Moore set shot after the siren. Since the start of 2012, so since beating Hawthorn in that prelim 2011, Collingwood trails their head-to-head, 5 wins, 1 draw, 16 losses. Hawthorn having a 9-game win streak over us in the mid-2010s. So it's almost 50-50 since, but 7 wins, 1 draw, 5 losses for Hawthorn against us. So yeah, they still get the jump or the ledger over us. A few Collingwood player stats, random ones. Once again, still side bottom. If he's playing this game, 374 coming up. AFL players in game 374, 9 wins, 3 losses. So bringing that up yet again. Pendlebury, Tuck, Burgoyne, Bartlett, Fletcher, Robert Harvey, Madden, Mundy, Dangerfield, all winning in games 374. And then you got Brent Harvey losing in 2014 to Adelaide. Travis Boak losing last year to Essendon in game 374, and Craig Bradley losing to Collingwood in 2002. I remember that game because I was there. The Flares, 108-point win. Thankfully, that was the case. Since the bye, and I got to mention and praise McStay and Membry. McStay and Membry have combined for 37 goals in the last 8 games. McStay 19 goals, Membry 18 goals. So basically 4.5 goals a game between McStay and Membry. Tall order though against Barras, against Josh Battle, Weddle, Sicily. We've got to have our kicking boots on heading inside 50 and also converting it on the scoreboard, i.e. last time we played Hawthorn. Another fun fact, this one for Swaddling, putting it on video. I did say this on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, but Sam Swaddling, the last time he lost a game was May 30th, the VFL against Footscray. Basically, Sam Swaddling, AFL, VFL on an 8-game winning streak. He's a lucky charm. We've got to keep him in because of it. If he wins this game, or if we beat Hawthorn and Swaddling's playing, 9 wins in a row, there's something there. He's the captain now. The keys to victory, first key to victory, we have to win out of the midfield. We can't allow Hawthorn to dominate the clearances or the centre clearances, hitouts, clearances, disposals, contested possessions, tackles, stoppages, ground ball gets, whatever's involved in the midfield mix. We have to either break even or win straight out of the midfield. Apply that pressure on Hawthorn, sustain it for 4 quarters. I noticed with Hawthorn, they can apply the pressure and turn the chicken up, but you apply that same pressure to them, they can fold. So it's more of a the bullies get bullied sort of approach. The second key to victory, we've got to contain Hawthorn's forward line. Hasn't been the case last couple of years for Hawthorn, or against Hawthorn, 2023, 2024, 11-goal loss in the wet weather. Last year, 64-point loss. Even this year, 13-15-93, our ability to convert in that game was just an anomaly there. But we've got to contain their forward line. I'm expecting responses for everyone. Mitch Lewis, Mabior Chol, Gunston, Watson, uh, Ginnivan, McDonald's mid forward there, and also their midfielders kicking goals. We've got to look out for that. And also whoever's resting down forward as their ruck, if it's Lloyd Meek and Ned Reeves working in tandem in the ruck, we've got to look out for their their rucks resting forward. The third key to victory, who applies the pressure the longest and who sustains it more, who's more effective with their pressure, who works better under pressure. For Hawthorn, I said it a little bit earlier, but they can apply the pressure on us. But last week against West Coast, we sustained their pressure. We worked well. It wasn't perfect handballs. That was an issue for me. The disposal efficiency needs to work, particularly with the pressure applied to us. But we still have that methodical approach, heading out defensive 50, and it works. It worked against West Coast to a point. Against Hawthorn, it'll be a massive ask to apply or work through the pressure of Hawthorn. Can we apply the same pressure to Hawthorn? Can we make them crack on the pressure? Going to be a massive ask Saturday night, the MCG. And the final key to victory, who is better on transition? I say this not in terms of inside 50 entries, but yeah, the turnovers there. Hawthorn don't have that perfect rebound 50 game. They can intercept well. That's a thing we need to make sure Hawthorn don't dominate in. But rebound 50s, we are number one in the competition for rebound 50s. Hawthorn, not as good on rebound 50s, but yeah, can our forward 50 pressure, our forward half pressure, and also how we set up defensively, can it work against Hawthorn, whose ability to switch the footy and crack the game open or the field open is next to none. We can't allow that, i.e. last year. If we can set up defensively, pretty much the win against Hawthorn last year, one of the best wins I've ever seen. Can we set up defensively? Can we stop Hawthorn's switching ability or using the corridor? Uh, that's my approach to it, just stopping Hawthorn. But I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot saying that because we need to be proactive, not reactive. So for us, yes, we need to be daring still. We can't go into a shell. We can't just bomb it down the line every time. Use the corridor, make them pay if they miss a set shot or their shot accuracy is not there. Our ability to rebound 50 and slingshot footy needs to be there, but we can't go into a shell if Hawthorn gets the jump. We need to take it to them. We need to show Hawthorn that, hey, if you want the premiership this year, you're going to have to earn it. And if we can beat Hawthorn here, there's doubts that creep into Hawthorn. They could be sabotaged of a top four spot. They could be thinking of a team like Collingwood, who's in the wildcard spot, as a threat to their premiership hopes. So, yeah, there's a lot of factors involved and the mental games, the gymnastics there, and the psychology involved. I'm hoping it's a case where third v eighth, but we make it a lot closer in that regard. But I don't want this to be a Hawthorn straightforward win over us. Hopefully not a 10-goal win over us. Otherwise, yeah, that's premiership hopes done, even though, yeah, we're pretty much a long shot of a premiership this year. But I don't want us to get flogged and pretty much wild card spot is just a waste for us, just considering who we're going to be playing most likely. But yeah, looking forward to the game. I can't say with confidence or the optimism is there compared to last time. I can't say Hawthorn's gettable. I'm expecting Hawthorn to respond in a big way compared to their performance last week. For us, yeah, we've got a young side still. We'll see what the team selections are like, and then we'll see and navigate how we go from there. But that's all for this preview. Leave your comments down below, your thoughts on this preview against Hawthorn. Give the video a like, share it around, subscribe if you're not already. Anything not mentioned in this video, leave your comments down below, and I'll look to discuss it in the team selections final word video. But that's all for this video. I'll leave you guys all to it. I hope you guys are having a good week so far. Please be well, please be safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night for the team selections final word video. Up the Pies.